Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm Arif, your cloud learning journey partner. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about like how I would start learning AWS if you have to start from scratch. So maybe you have learned about cloud computing and you want to learn AWS because AWS is the industry leader of cloud computing sector. So if we don't have a particular approach, it's very easy to get confused because AWS provides a tons of services. So we need to have a complete roadmap, a complete step-by-step process that can help us to learn AWS. So it's been 8 years I'm working with AWS technologies. So I thought like I should create a video where I will show you the step-by-step approach that I'm going to take to learn AWS from scratch. So at the very beginning, I also faced the same issue because I was overwhelmed with all the informations that are available online related to AWS. So this video is to help you out with those particular information, the approach that will help you to learn AWS in an effective and faster way. So before starting the video, I just want to talk about myself. Well, I'm Arif. I do have more than 8 years of experience in cloud computing and cybersecurity. I hold multiple certification in AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. Beside that, I also hold CEI, SSP, and CCSP certification, which are the industry leader of cloud security certification. Well, this channel is all about cloud computing and cybersecurity. So if you're interested in this topic, this channel is definitely for you. I'm gonna upload a tons of videos related to this topic, so please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming contents. So without further delay, let's explore the AWS learning path. All right, so we have made our mind that we want to learn AWS, and now we will start the process. So the first thing I would do is to learn the basics of cloud computing. Even being so specific of AWS, first I'm gonna tackle the basics. So whenever talking about basic, I'm referring to the fundamentals like what is cloud computing, what are the characteristics of cloud computing, what are the service model, what are the deployment model of cloud computing. So all the basics will help us to have a very strong foundational knowledge. In future, this knowledge will help us to stand out, because what happens most of the time when we are facing a sort of job interviews, we feel like the interviewer going to ask us very complex question, but this is totally the opposite. The interviewer most of the time, like 80%, they ask like very basic question because they really want to understand whether we do have the basic understanding. If we have a strong foundational knowledge, that's a key to crack a job interview. So for that reason, I'll focus a lot on the basics. Once I start to learn basics, a good question could be like what resources I should use, from where I can learn the basics of cloud computing. All thanks goes to internet. On YouTube, if you just simply type what is cloud computing, the basics of cloud computing, you will get tons of resources. Please spend time, go through these resources, read some articles, read some books. So from there, you will have the basics. Once you feel like, yes, I do have the basics, then we should move to the second step, which is to learn AWS basic services. The second step to learn AWS basic services would be a little bit tricky because it's more vendor specific. So for this, we have to follow two steps. The first step, we have to go through some official documentation, like from AWS website. We can get a tons of documents related to their services, some white papers, some very important core services. We need to learn those. So there are hundreds of AWS services, but at the very beginning, we don't have to focus on the 100 services. We have to focus on the core services. At least, from my understanding, I would tackle at least 20 out of like hundreds of services, 20 core services. Whenever I'm talking about core services, I'm mainly referring to the compute EC2, Lambda, database RDS, DynamoDB, then the storage S3. So these sort of services, I named five, but there should be at least 20. Once we are familiar with those basics, then it will help us to have a very strong foundational knowledge on AWS. We can say that, hey, we know these particular services very well. So now we have some sort of understanding of these particular services. Now the next step would be to get the hands-on experience. A good question could be, how can we have this hands-on experience at the very beginning? AWS made things easy for us. We can always sign up to AWS console, and AWS provides us a free tier. Under free tier, we can use multiple AWS services without any cost. So if you are just exploring, if you're a student and you feel like, yes, I don't want to spend any money for my learning process, then this is an excellent option. Just open your AWS account from there. Whatever you have learned from book, from white paper, from blog, from videos, try to implement. Try to create some EC2 servers, some S3 buckets, some Lambda functions. Try to integrate multiple AWS services together so that you can see the power of AWS, the power of cloud computing. You can create the servers, the database, the load balancer, a complete stack like from scratch within few hours. So it will make you more and more interested on AWS, like how things are happening so quick. So once you have the hands-on experience, then you will have much more confident about your skill set, because so far you have uh, you have the clear idea about the services, and now you do have the hands-on experience too. So this is where I would say like this is a big accomplishment, that you have learned about 20 AWS services and you know ins and out. You have the hands-on experience too. You have configured this from the AWS console. So now we do have some really good hands-on experience on AWS services, which is great, and we want to take it more seriously. So for that, what I do, I look into the AWS certification path, because there is a reason behind it. There are some discussion always, like argument whether IT certification is OD to have, whether skill is better than having the certification. Well, from my understanding, the thing is, whenever we are preparing for a particular certification, then we follow a complete outline, a complete roadmap. We have to understand some very particular services, some particular configurations. So what does it mean? It helps us to enhance our knowledge. It helps us to find the gaps. Whatever we learned so far, if there's any knowledge gap, we can find that and we can fix it. And when we are preparing for certification, we take things very seriously. And when we are seriously, learn way more. This is a human nature. When you are under pressure, you perform better. So this is how I feel it. So whenever I get a chance, I always go for the certification. So far, I have like 15 to 20 not AWS, like all the cloud certification and the cybersecurity certifications. But I feel like still there are tons of certification that I need to get. Well, whenever talking about the certification path, as a beginner, I will always target the AWS Cloud Practitioner one, because this is the fundamental one, the basic one. It will help me to understand the ecosystem of AWS, like the overview of AWS. So once I get this AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, my second target would be AWS Solutions Architect Associate. Yes, AWS Solutions Architect Associate is a wonderful certification. This certification is a gold, because it helps you to think. It helps you to think like a architect. Like how can you integrate multiple services, merge multiple services together to come up with a solution where it will be scalable, it will be secure, it will be fault tolerant. So this is great. So I would highly recommend you to do the same. First, go for the cloud practitioner, then the solutions architect associate. Once you have these two certification, believe me, you are ready to enter the job market, because in order to get those two certification, you really need to have some hands-on experience. You'll need to learn a lot, and once you have this certification, now it's time for the game. Now you can apply for the job, and with the knowledge that you have acquired so far, it will be very easy for you to crack the job interviews. Once I have these two certifications, then the next target for me would be to network. So for networking, I would highly recommend you to use LinkedIn. So under LinkedIn, I'm gonna add all the industry experts, the leaders of cloud computing sector, so that I can see the updates of what things are happening in cloud computing sector. So beside that, I will also connect to multiple communities where they are talking about cloud computing, specifically AWS. So every morning I'll just go through the newsfeed as like a newspaper, so that I can learn what's going on how things are changing, what I need to learn, how can I be more valuable, how can I add more skill set related to this particular sector. Beside that, when you connect to these people, this you can always ask for some suggestion. Hey, I am starting my career in cloud, how can I improve myself? And believe me, if you reach to them, most of the time you're gonna get a reply, because you are showing the interest and people value that, that's for sure. So this is how I would do the networking, and this networking will also help me to land my first job, because now I am seeing the industry trends. I know the people who are working on those companies. So, beside this, the last thing that I will also do is that I will keep learning, because cloud computing is a huge sector, a lot of services, specifically in AWS. Every month they're launching new services. So, if you don't learn in regular basis, it's very hard to cope up with it. And in few years, you'll feel like, oh no, I am far behind. I need to focus more and more. So for that reason, every day just spend at least like 30 minutes to learn something new related to cloud, related to AWS. In few months, in few years, it all gonna add up, and you will be amazed how much information you have gathered, how much knowledge you have acquired. So this is how I would approach to learn AWS if I have to start from scratch. This is I'm talking about this from my 8 years of experience, and believe me, if you follow this path, you will definitely learn AWS in a very efficient way, and also you can land your first job related to AWS. So here you have it. Now you know the exact formula. If you guys have any questions or any doubt related to this approach that I have mentioned today, please let me know in this comment section, and I'm gonna reply you back in a very short bit of time. Well, thank you so much, guys, for watching my videos. It means a lot to me. Our community is growing, more and more people are joining to our community, and the ultimate goal is to create a community where everybody will help each other to become a better IT professional. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming contents. Well, that's all for today. Have a great and wonderful day.